Have you ever felt like you're always giving but receiving nothing in return, except being taken advantage of? You try your best to support others, to be helpful, to show up when needed, yet what comes back is often indifference or selfish behavior. Kindness, when unguarded, can slowly turn into a weakness. It can make you an easy target for people who exploit your goodwill without you even noticing it happening. When you're too soft, you allow others to step into your emotional space, draining your energy and disturbing your peace. Stoicism teaches us that living with strength and calm requires clear boundaries. You must know how to protect yourself. This awareness is what keeps you from becoming prey to those who lack respect. A Stoic mindset is about self-control, intentional action, and refusing to let others push you around. In today's video, I'll share 8 signs that show you're being too soft and how Stoicism can help you regain control, stop being exploited, and live with strength and respect. 1. You allow disrespect without consequences. Have you noticed that you're always giving, yet appreciation never seems to follow? You help, you listen, you show up. But instead of respect, you're met with dismissive or careless behavior. When people treat you poorly and you let it pass, hoping things will improve on their own, they usually don't. In fact, it gets worse. The more you tolerate disrespect, the more comfortable others become in taking advantage of you. When you fail to stand up for yourself, you teach people that crossing your limits is acceptable. Sarcastic remarks, dismissive attitudes, or subtle neglect, letting these things slide sends a message that you're willing to accept less than you deserve. What feels like avoiding conflict is actually the slow erosion of self-respect. Over time, this weakens your confidence and your sense of control over your own life. Stoicism reminds us that our response to disrespect reveals our character. It's not about revenge or retaliation, but about composure and firmness in values. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice." This means you don't allow someone else's behavior to control your emotions. By standing firm and maintaining integrity, you show others where your boundaries are, and you reinforce your own self-worth. Without boundaries, you invite exploitation. Respecting yourself isn't selfish, it's essential. When people see you tolerate bad behavior, they feel entitled to continue. This creates a toxic dynamic where you feel small and powerless. Stoicism teaches that while you can't control others, you can control your response. You are not required to tolerate disrespect, and standing up for yourself does not make you weak. So how should you respond to disrespect? First, pause. Take a breath before reacting. That pause creates space between what happens and how you respond, allowing you to act with dignity instead of emotion. Reacting in anger only fuels negativity and hands control to the other person. Responding calmly keeps your power intact. Stand firm in your self-worth. Don't allow others to make you feel small. Calmly and clearly communicate that their behavior is unacceptable. Boundary setting isn't about aggression or rudeness. It's about protecting your peace. You don't need to raise your voice to be heard. You need clarity and conviction. Your self-respect is non-negotiable. If someone can't respect you, that reflects their character, not your value. Don't let another person's behavior define your worth. Stand tall, speak with confidence, and remember, you deserve respect. 2. You apologize too often. Have you ever apologized for something that wasn't your fault, or said sorry just to avoid tension, even when it wasn't necessary? This is another clear sign of being too soft. Constantly apologizing, especially when you've done nothing wrong, signals that you don't value your own feelings or opinions. It may seem harmless at first, but over time it eats away at your self-esteem and leaves you vulnerable to manipulation. When apologies become a habit, you unconsciously give away your power and allow others to place their expectations on you. It can also make you appear uncertain and lacking confidence. Stoic philosophy teaches responsibility for one's actions, but it also teaches that you should never apologize for living according to your values. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to live according to reason and nature. If you're acting honestly and with integrity, there's no need to apologize for it. Saying sorry for being yourself or for standing firm weakens your self-respect. Ask yourself why you're apologizing. Is it because you're truly at fault, or because you're uncomfortable with disapproval? Apologizing to please others erases personal boundaries and hands control over your emotions to someone else. Stoicism encourages intentional living, guided by principles rather than approval. Your worth isn't measured by how often you say sorry, but by how firmly you stand by your values. Start by becoming aware of your apologies. Pause and ask, is this necessary? If it isn't, don't say it. Practice expressing your thoughts without guilt. Over time, you'll realize you don't need approval to exist authentically. You don't owe anyone an apology for being true to yourself. Unnecessary apologies weaken self-respect. Stand firm, trust your decisions, and stop apologizing for who you are. Your peace and self-worth matter more than pleasing others. 3. You allow people to cross your boundaries. You may agree to things you don't want to do just to avoid disappointing others, or allow people to take more of your time and energy than they should. This is what boundary crossing looks like. Boundaries are essential for emotional and mental well-being. When you don't set or enforce them, you signal that other people's needs matter more than your own. Over time, this leaves you drained, frustrated, and disconnected from yourself. Stoicism teaches balance by understanding what is within your control, your time, energy, and emotions. Boundaries protect that control. When you allow them to be crossed repeatedly, peace and balance disappear. Enforcing boundaries requires firmness and self-respect. It isn't selfish, it's necessary. People will test limits, and if you don't assert yourself, they'll keep pushing. Boundaries aren't walls, they're filters. You can be kind and respectful while still protecting your space. A Stoic life is lived intentionally, guided by values rather than other people's expectations. When someone crosses a line, address it calmly. No anger, no hostility, just clarity. Let them know what's acceptable and what isn't. Over time, people will understand that you value yourself. Strong boundaries lead to a stronger sense of control and empowerment. Your boundaries reflect your self-respect. If you don't defend them, no one else will. They're not about being cold, they're about living with balance and dignity. Don't fear saying no when it's necessary. Don't feel guilty for protecting your time and energy. Only you can define your limits, and it's your responsibility to enforce them. 4. You feel obligated to help even when it hurts you. You may often help others even when it comes at a personal cost. There's a constant sense of obligation to assist, to support, even when it drains your energy or harms your well-being. While helping others is admirable, sacrificing your own happiness and health is a clear sign of being too soft. When you consistently place others' needs above your own, exhaustion and frustration follow, often turning into resentment, especially when your efforts go unnoticed or unappreciated. Stoicism teaches us the importance of balance in life. Helping others is virtuous, but never at the expense of your own peace and health. As Epictetus reminded us, it's not what happens to you that matters, but how you respond to it. You must learn to recognize and respect your limits. When you constantly sacrifice your well-being for others, you neglect the most important relationship of all, the one you have with yourself. It's impossible to maintain healthy connections with others if you ignore your own needs. The Stoic path is not about becoming cold or indifferent, it's about understanding that your needs matter just as much. True selflessness comes from strength, not exhaustion. If you give endlessly without restoring yourself, burnout is inevitable. To help others in a meaningful way, you must protect your inner calm and physical health. Putting yourself first is not selfish, it's necessary. It allows you to give without resentment or emotional fatigue. If you notice that you help others out of guilt or obligation rather than genuine care, it's time to pause and reflect. Ask yourself whether you're helping because you truly want to, or because you fear disappointing someone or crave their approval. Stoicism reminds us that we have control over our actions. Saying no is not weakness, it's self-respect. When you prioritize your well-being, you're not abandoning others. You're ensuring that you can support them without losing yourself. Your peace and happiness deserve priority. You can still be there for others, but only after you take care of yourself. Don't feel guilty for saying no when it's necessary. Doing so allows you to help in ways that don't drain you, but strengthen you instead. Self-care isn't selfish. It's essential for sustaining clarity, strength, and purpose. 5. You avoid confrontation at all costs. Do you avoid confrontation even when it's clearly needed? You might suppress your feelings, hold back your opinions, or stay silent when you should speak up. By doing this, you let others control the situation and avoid the discomfort of addressing problems directly. While this may feel easier in the moment, it often leads to bigger issues later on. Avoiding confrontation allows frustration and resentment to build, slowly harming your well-being and your relationships. Stoicism teaches that avoidance is not the solution. In fact, confrontation can be a path to growth. The Stoics believed in facing problems with calm reasoning rather than emotional reactions or avoidance. Seneca once said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult." Facing challenges directly is an act of strength. When you avoid confrontation, you also avoid asserting boundaries and expressing needs. You may fear upsetting others or being seen as difficult, but without honest confrontation, resolution is impossible. Addressing issues doesn't mean aggression, it means speaking clearly, respectfully, and firmly. Stoic philosophy encourages us to meet challenges with calm intention, understanding that we can only control our own response. If you tend to avoid difficult conversations, it's time to shift your mindset. Confrontation doesn't have to be negative. It can strengthen relationships and reinforce your values. The next time you feel tempted to avoid a hard discussion, remember that avoidance only prolongs discomfort. Facing the situation calmly not only resolves the issue, but also builds confidence and self-trust. Avoiding confrontation leads to unresolved tension and unhealthy patterns. Meeting challenges head-on helps you grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Embrace the discomfort, knowing it gives you the chance to stand by your values and create more honest relationships. 6. You allow your needs and wants to be ignored. How often do you put your own needs aside to meet the demands of others? You may constantly prioritize other people while your own desires remain unmet. At first, this can feel like the right thing to do, but over time, it leads to frustration and self-neglect. When you allow others to dismiss your needs, you lose touch with what truly matters to you. Stoicism teaches that self-respect is essential for a balanced and fulfilling life. Caring for others is important, but honoring your own needs is equally vital. The Stoics believed in living according to nature and reason, and that includes caring for yourself. When you neglect your needs for others, you fall out of alignment with yourself. Self-care is not selfish. It's a necessary practice for emotional strength and inner peace. When you allow others to ignore your needs, you teach them that your feelings matter less than theirs. Over time, this creates an unhealthy dynamic where you feel invisible and undervalued. Stoicism encourages authenticity and respect for personal boundaries. You are not responsible for everyone else's happiness. It's okay to say no when something doesn't align with your needs. Change begins with awareness. Notice when you're neglecting yourself. Are you saying yes out of fear of conflict or rejection? Are you overextending to avoid disappointing others? Pause before committing to anything that leaves you drained or disconnected. By prioritizing your well-being and learning to say no, you restore balance in your life. You are responsible for taking care of yourself. When you consistently honor your time, energy, and emotions, others learn to respect them too. This creates a healthier dynamic where your needs are respected and you're able to give your best to others without feeling drained or resentful. When you take care of yourself, you're better equipped to support those around you without sacrificing your own well-being. 7. You take on more than you can handle. Do you often agree to tasks or responsibilities even when you're already overwhelmed? You may feel obligated to say yes, to be the reliable one who helps wherever needed. But by doing this, you overload yourself and push closer to exhaustion. While it can feel good to be depended on, constantly taking on more than you can manage leads to burnout and leaves you with little energy for yourself or anyone else. Stoicism teaches us to recognize our limits and live within them. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to understand what is within our control and what is not. When you take on too much, you move away from your natural balance and set yourself up for frustration and stress. The Stoics believed in living with intention and purpose, which includes knowing when to step back and when to say no. You don't have to accept every responsibility to prove your worth. Taking on too much doesn't make you strong. It makes you vulnerable to anxiety, exhaustion, and burnout. It's easy to believe that always saying yes makes you dependable or selfless, but overcommitting often means neglecting your own needs. It's a way of ignoring the reality that your time and energy are limited. When you eventually hit your limit, you'll have little left to give. Stoicism teaches discipline in how we use our time and energy, focusing on what truly matters and letting go of the rest. The first step in breaking this pattern is recognizing when you've reached your limit. Saying no is not weakness, it's self-respect. When you say no to what doesn't align with your priorities, you create space for what truly matters. This allows you to give your best to the people and responsibilities that deserve your attention. Life isn't about doing everything. It's about doing what matters most and doing it well. You are responsible for your time, energy, and well-being. Overloading yourself helps no one. By respecting your limits, you work smarter, not harder, and preserve the strength needed to show up fully for others. Embrace the wisdom of Stoicism. Take on what you can handle and let the rest go. 8. You never speak up for yourself. Do you stay silent when you know you should speak? Maybe someone says something that bothers you, or a situation arises where your voice matters, yet you choose quiet instead. When you never speak up, you allow others to decide how you're treated. Silence in the face of unfairness may seem easier, but over time, it damages self-respect and builds frustration. The more you avoid standing up for yourself, the less control you feel over your own life. Stoicism teaches that silence can be powerful, but only when it's intentional. It's not about suppressing emotions or avoiding truth. It's about choosing responses that align with your values. Seneca said that silence is one of the strongest forms of self-control. But silence does not mean submission. Speaking up requires courage and a willingness to express your needs, even when it's uncomfortable. When you stand up for yourself, you reaffirm your boundaries and your worth. Staying silent allows others to overstep, leading to resentment and self-doubt, which eventually harms your mental and emotional health. Stoicism encourages living according to reason and virtue. That includes having the courage to express necessary thoughts and opinions. If you remain quiet all the time, you give others control over how you feel and what you accept. Speaking up doesn't require aggression. It means communicating calmly, clearly, and assertively. Stoicism teaches us to respond with clarity and purpose rather than emotion. When you learn to communicate assertively, you regain control over your life and your relationships. You feel more confident, empowered, and respected. When the moment comes to speak up, pause, breathe, and choose your words wisely. Don't let fear of judgment hold you back. Your voice matters. Standing up for yourself is not optional. It's essential for maintaining self-respect. In the end, taking control of your life begins with recognizing where you've been too soft and allowed others to take advantage of you. Whether it's tolerating disrespect, over-apologizing, or neglecting your own needs, it's time to reassess. Stoicism teaches us to live by our values, set boundaries, and stand firm without becoming harsh. The Stoic path is about honesty with yourself and protecting your peace. Self-respect is non-negotiable. When you speak your truth and set clear boundaries, you protect your well-being and build stronger, healthier relationships. You deserve respect, and you decide how you're treated. Embrace the Stoic mindset. Take responsibility for your life. Honor your needs and never apologize for protecting your peace. The power to shape your life is in your hands.